Hi, Sam.
Hey guys.
Hi.
All right. Well, give people a minute to show up. You guys hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you good.
Oh,
Yep.
okay.
Yep.
I take it Phil's not going to be here.
I haven't heard anything from him about that. You want me to check in with him real quick?
Well, isn't he at HIMSS this week or not? Or is he still, or did he just remote into that conference?
No, I think Hims was like last week, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, I know Jared's in Las Vegas this week, so there's some conference going on.
Oh, he didn't tell me that he was going to be out. So if he is, it's news to me.
Okay. It might be he didn't go to Las Vegas. I mean, Phil didn't go to Las Vegas. He's just remoting in.
Maybe I'm thinking of Vive.
Five was in LA. That was 2 weeks ago. That was
Yeah,
last
probably.
week or the week before. I don't remember.
Let's see.
Otherwise, I'm gonna make a. Oh, there's Phil. Okay, he's here.
Nice.
So, do we have an? Oh, there we go. There's the agenda. It looks like don't see anybody from Glyph yet. Are they? If Kevin and
I
Kent and
think
those
Kevin said he
guys.
has a conflicting meeting.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess we should get started. Maybe they'll show up.
All right.
All right. So I just welcome everybody to the KERI Suite Working Group um, meeting. Remind everybody of the Linux Foundation Trust over IP project. Uh, uh, Antitrust policy. You have to be a member of Trust over IP and or the Linux Foundation and sign the agreements to be able to make contributions. Anyone's welcome to be an observer, but no substantive contributions to the specs are allowed unless you're a member. Um, so let's go to do we have any new members here for the first time? I don't, um, Jean Cho from your D or your ID. Are you here? Are you visiting for the first time?
Yes. Hi, Samuel and everyone. Yeah, it's my first time joining the call.
Do you mind introducing yourself?
Sure. Yeah, I can give a quick intro. Yeah, so I'm Gene, co-founder at URD, Your Data. I just joined TYP actually last week. Um, Really nice to join the first meeting. So briefly just explain what we're doing. We actually just won the Glyph VLE hackathon last year, and what we have focused on was building a trusted identity infrastructure for AI, especially agent verification uh, using the VLEI. And yeah, I mean, I could explain more to it, but we're basically focusing on AI verification use cases using obviously the KERI stack and the VLE. Yeah.
Oh, well, that sounds great. Welcome to the community. Um, um, why don't we do a short round of introductions of everybody else in the college just so you get to know who people are? Um, I'll go. I'm Samuel Smith. I guess you could say I'm originator of the protocols, but had a lot of help along the way, and chairman of this working group. Who wants to go next? Start at the top.
Hi, My name is Henk van Kan. I'm a colleague of Sam in the foundation, and I'm also in touch with your data. You're from South Korea, aren't you, Gene?
Yeah, yeah, I
Yeah,
saw your comment to our co-founder JG's
yeah, yeah,
post on the LinkedIn. Yeah.
yeah. Because we reached out to be a sponsor for the KERI conference upcoming, and that's what I also organize.
Hmm.
So who's next?
What about
I could
Ari?
go.
Sure. I'm Ari Argood. I'm a full stack Python developer for Health KERI.
I'll jump in. I am Kent Bull. I work with Kevin. I think he's also on the call, or he was. I work with the VLEI technical team at Glyph. I've been in the KERI community for a couple of years. Thanks, I'm Kent.
I'm Jay. I'm a DevOps engineer. I work for Sam as a Python developer.
Hello, I'm Carly Heidema. I'm a Trust Over IP co-chair, steering committee member, and also contributor to Trust Over IP. And I work on like educational content around to try and teach people more about the concepts and concerns. So, for example, when Sam said in a meeting, he wished more people knew about verifiable credentials that could be faked with older signing keys, then Sam, I'll have you have a look at it at some point. I'm almost done the video.
Oh, fantastic. Alec?
Hey, I'm Alec Forston. I'm also a developer for KERI.
And same with me, I'm Ryan, one of the engineers on the team for the KERI Foundation.
I'm Evan. I'm also working for Sam at the KERI Foundation.
Yeah. Oh, hello. Hello.
Yeah, we can hear you. Go ahead, Keanu.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I'm Keanu. I'm also on the team with Sam, working on the KERI development.
Is that everyone?
Hey everyone, I'll go. Jonathan Rayback. I'm Kent and I co-chair the DidWebS task force group under this working group, whatever the current organizational structure actually labels the group. I don't know, but I'm also a co-chair.
It's a task force.
We're a task force still. Okay. I'm also co-chair the DID methods working group at the Decentralized Identity Foundation and have been floating around in the KERI community for a while.
Anyone else? Is that everyone? Well, now you have a little bit of sense of who the other members of the group are. Gene, hope that helps. So let's go to action items. Kent, please move DID-WET-S specification to KERI Suite Working Group repo. What's the status of that?
So we are just waiting on hearing back from inside the Decentralized Identity Foundation on some links that point to the old repo, at the old title that we want to update. Other than that, I actually don't quite have permissions to change the repo name, so I will work with whoever does. We just wanted to wait for a week or two to get the word out there. We're pretty much ready to change the repo name, and then we just need to fix the hosting after that. So it's still open.
So I think Kevin has permissions.
Yeah, that's right. I believe he does.
So yeah, okay. All right. So I guess we'll leave that as an action item for next time to follow up with. Okay. And then the next action item for Phil is to add a future topics to top level page in the wiki.
That one I haven't got to yet. I'll move that one down.
And then, okay, move that one down. And then the Discord, so for contributors list, looks like that's been taken care of. We updated the contributors list, so that's good. All right. Announcements. Okay. So does somebody want to make that announcement of the SETI bill? I'm happy to do it. Somebody put it on the list. Yeah. So
you should.
Utah State, both legislative bodies, the House and the Senate, passed SB 275. I believe it was unanimous on both sides. So it's now just waiting for the governor to sign. There's zero chance the governor will not sign it. In fact, he's planning to have a signing party to get positive publicity about it. So it's pretty much in law now. So that's a big milestone for digital identity and KERI.
Sam, I read through some of that. I read through as much as I let's say I didn't read the whole thing, but when does that, what does this mean in terms of timeline? Does this put any kind of...
So the fiscal year for the state of Utah starts in July 1. So the earliest that they could issue RFPs for work on that bill would be July 1. And then they have 12 months after that. So we'd be looking to spend the money. So there'll be, so that's really between once the bill's signed, then they'll probably work on RFPs or an RFP, probably more than one, that they'll then publish sometime in June, usually just before the deadline. And then there'll be some process over time by which they, start to evaluate responses to that. There may or may not be proof of concepts. They may actually fund proof of concepts to shake out some of the details. So, that's one of the things that we're doing at the KERI Foundation, as you know, is we're building open source tooling for the infrastructure that would be supportive for this SETI initiative. And they know that we're just getting started. So we'll see where we are in 4 months and where we are, every month after that in terms of how that supports the rollout. But I don't think anybody's anticipating that it's going to be operational on day one. I expect that it won't actually be operational till the end of the fiscal year. So we're looking, next year, a year from now, before things are actually getting close to being operational. But I'm not the one making those decisions, so that's just my guess.
Sound good.
I got a few notes from the KERI conference. The first one is that we have a form live now on the website to be able to fill out for people that want to combine the SETI summit with the KERI conference. There's also the hotels. We offer a small rebate via the site, and that will also be extended over the SETI summit before the KERI conference.
And just to,
It is
if I could clarify that a little bit, Hank, the SETI Summit is invite only. So if you fill out the form, we will request that you want to have an invite. So that's what the point of the form is that if you're coming to the conference and you want to be able to get an invite to attend the SETI Summit, then you fill out the form and we'll send that along to the state so they can extend an invite.
Thank you. That was the other point on my list.
Yeah, sorry. I thought
You're
sorry.
too quick, Sam. You're too quick. Slow down. So the other one is the happy fact that we have a new sponsor. It's not yet on the website, but Provenant will be a gold sponsor. I see a hand up from Jonathan.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
The question, Hank, is just for those of us who are presenting or speaking at KERI how do we get the SETI conference packaged on, or how's that going to work?
As Sam explained, you fill out that form on the website, KERI Conference. It's on the homepage. You can click, and then we will list you as somebody interested in also joining the SETI conference summit. And then we will get back, or the SETI organization will get back to you whether they can invite you or not.
Okay, so that's for speakers as well.
Exactly. Yeah. Speaking at the KERI conference.
Yeah, speaking at the KERI conference doesn't.
Exactly.
The two conferences are governed by different organizations.
Yeah.
We just tried to host them at the same location, but the SETI Summit is Utah State. They're running that, and it's invite only. So they decide who they want to invite. So being a speaker at the KERI conference doesn't necessarily mean you get an invite to the SETI Summit. It may, it just depends on.
Sure. That I understand. What I was just wondering is, I don't know if there's a charge for signing up to attend the KERI Conf. As a speaker, I would hope that charge is waived. I don't want to fill out a form and get charged for the KERI Conf just so I can get on the list for the SETI Conf.
SETI has no charges. It's a free summit.
No. He's saying, is he going to be charged to attend the KERI conference if he's a speaker at the KERI conference?
No.
Yes.
No.
Speakers get a complimentary attendance ticket at the KERI conference.
Perfect.
And the SETI conference does not have a charge. The Utah State is sponsoring it.
Yeah. All right. I'll fill out the form. Thank you.
Yep.
I just have a quick question on that as well. I posted a link in chat, kericonf.com/combine with SETI conference. Is that the form we fill out if we want to indicate interest in SETI?
That's it. Yep.
Great. Cool.
And the last
remark we could probably copy that into the notes.
Yep. Will do. I will post it in the chat and then we can add it to the notes. The last remark I wanted to make is the volunteers that signed up sort of last week. Hold your horses, please. I'm still busy making the packages for you that you can help us out with. And that will happen this week. That was it from my side.
How many people have signed up for the KERI conference so far? Do we have a number yet?
Yes, we have numbers. We sold sponsor packages. We have speakers there. We have organizers there, and we have sold tickets so far. We are 7 weeks up front, and we have sold 12 tickets. That doesn't seem a lot, but if you know the statistics, normally they go the last 3-4 weeks. up quickly, and we also expect a lot of stayovers from the SETI conference. And we're happy to receive 40, 50 people, 60 people as well. If, of course, it would be better if we have 100, but we will record the sessions in not only in the main room in the plenary session, but also all the breakout rooms will be recorded, and we will use that as a resource for educational material later. It's explicitly not being broadcasted, so you have to be there to be part of the historical first KERI conference. It will be a collector's item.
Yeah, you get a t-shirt. We'll have t-shirts.
Yeah. You don't get them. You have to.
So even the video won't be posted at some point?
Sorry?
Even the video won't be posted at some point after the fact?
Yes, but that won't be like one day after or 2 days. We will
Sure, yeah.
we will edit the results.
Yeah, the point of the video is so that on the breakouts, if you attend the conference and you can't go to a breakout session because it's conflicting because they're going at the same time, everybody who attends the conference will have early access to all the videos so that they can see that. And then at some point later, we'll make the conference videos available for general, but part of it is we want to incentivize people to come to the conference.
Yeah, sure.
If we get 50 people, it'll be a success because the KERI community is pretty small, but we have room for 150. All right, any other announcements anybody wants to make? Also, there is, you can announce that IAW is coming up in the week after the KERI conference in April. So those of you, reminder about IAW. I don't have anything else there. Oh, there you go.
Trying to get the dates in here.
Yeah. So the conference starts on the 21st in the evening. There's a meet and greet, and then there's 2 full days, the Wednesday and Thursday. And the SETI Summit is the Monday and Tuesday day.
Yeah, I'll get all of them here. And then IW would be the 28th, 29th, and 30th, right?
Yeah, the Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, the following week. That was by design, so that if somebody traveling could stay over.
And technically, the SETI Summit overlaps with the first day of the KERI conference.
Yeah, well, yeah, the SETI Summit is going to be during the day, and then the evening in the same location will be the start of the KERI conference. And that was also, the design is so that people that come to the SETI Summit, which is mainly going to be policy focused, not technology focused. And then the idea is that people that then want to dig into the technology could stay over for the KERI conference. There is a SETI consortium, and that has, I think now it's double digits, as many as 20 states. So there are states who will be using the SETI bill from Utah as a model for legislation next year.
Wow.
Are they are they attending the SETI summit, or you're just
Yeah,
saying?
that's the whole point. That's why it's an invite thing. Is that they're going to invite policymakers, and then depending on what how much. So there's 150 person capacity at the venue, and then when they know how many policymakers are attending, then they'll fill the remaining thing with invites for other people. So they anticipate that they'll probably have about 75, about half of the invites will be for private, uh, non-state based delegations. So, and if you're traveling to come to the KERI conference, make sure you put that in your notes, because uh, uh, we want to make sure that people that go to the trouble to travel, are, it's the state recognizes that in terms of the SETI summit, but we don't control that. We're just making it convenient to let them know, here's a list of people that want to be invited. And here, and they'll the last SETI summit had 700 people attend, but it was open to everybody in the state of Utah to come, and included state and local governments. So this is a much narrower summit. This is a smaller summit. This is a technical summit, policy summit, and we have a smaller venue. But it's follows quickly on the heels of the bill being passed, so there'll be a lot of interest from policymakers. Any other questions before we move on? Any other announcements or questions? All right. And then, yeah, you have a link for the KERI conference. Great. Okay, let's go to reports. Anybody want to report on any developments, standard software? I assume we're going to have a discussion about the DOI work, or we can just report on it now. I guess usually the discussion is where we're trying to solve things. So, Hank, do you want to report on where we are on the DOI stuff? I think it's on my. I think it's now on my list of to-dos. Yeah.
Together with Phil, by the way. So I've
Okay.
created 3 issues to take control over the Xanadu DOIs, and they are operational at the moment. I will paste them into the chat, and
So
so
can we,
they're
yeah, so let's
done. Our
create an
work is
action
done.
item for next time then, Phil, if you don't mind. You and I, since we're the chair and co-chair, would have governance over the DOIs for the specs. These are the numbers for the standard numbering for publications that people can reference or cross-reference. And so there's a company called Zenodo. I can't remember if you were part of this discussion last time, that creates DOI numbers and registers them. And the so to get the final version of the specs with the DOI so that anybody can easily reference it, took a little bit of work. And so Hank and Core worked on that, but we have to register with Zenodo, and we need more than one so that there's not a single point of failure on the registration.
How do you spell Zenodo? Anyone?
Zenodo, I think. Carly knows, right?
It's in the chat now, so you can click on them.
Okay. So there's a couple of issues. You tell them what the steps
Yeah,
we need to
there are
do.
3 issues for each specification one.
And these are on these one in each spec repo.
Exactly. So I just
Okay,
gave
great.
an example of the AC/DC one, but the other 2 are in KERI and Caesar. And the 3 Zenodo links I gave, these are actually going to the.
Oh,
to
you
the
put them in the chat. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Well,
if
they're
you
public, so.
no, but Phil's typing, so he needs to know to go look in the chat to know to
Oh
copy them
yeah,
into
they're in
the.
chat. They're in the chat. Yeah. You can copy paste them from there.
So with those Zenodo records, the thing is that if you'll find that they are given a DOI, a document object identifier, and it's a global system for resolving documents, and it's a very persistent identifier. This was a problem because the specs were changing locations. So then if somebody else wrote a specification and cited KERI or AC/DC, then if it moved, then their specification would be incorrect. So the most stable way to identify these specifications is via its DOI, and then you can put the DOI in a URL and it'll resolve to that Zenodo record. And from there you can find the GitHub. Even if GitHub moves around and stuff, then we can connect that. And DOI should even outlive trust over IP and whatever else.
Yeah, so Carly, it would be great if DOIs included a hash of
Yes.
the document, because right now,
Yep.
while they live forever, the
Yep.
actual verifiability is based on Zenodo's database of zip
100%.
files.
100%.
Yeah. So this would be a great application of the URN said for them to publish a URN said that corresponded to the zip file. Then somebody could verify that the zip file actually matched the hash that was published as part of the
Yeah, 100 and DOI, the number that they give afterwards is just made up. So if somebody else, another organization wanted to start minting DOIs, it could totally be DOI dash.
Yeah, they could do a DOI hijack. Yep.
I don't know why. I just get the pushback I get is that they're too hard to read and use for people, but they're great for computers.
Well, yeah, they just need to publish both. That's the point. So the point is that AIs are going to be forging DOIs when it's convenient, and it'll be
They
trivial
already
for them to
do.
do. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. And the only place you can go is back to the DOI organization in order to have an authenticated version.
Until they get hacked, and then all of their records. Yeah.
Or their
So
government
anyway,
stops funding them and stuff like that. Yeah.
yeah, whatever, right? So it's just a fragile thing. It was good, is a good idea 20 or 30 years ago when they invented it, but it no longer passes the smell test for security. So anyway, I'm just saying, if you're working with them, I'm sure they're going to push back, but at some point somebody will go, oh, we heard about this URN said thing, this said protocol. Maybe we should think about it, anyway. It's great. Okay. Any other reports? There's been a lot of work going on in the KERI Pi library. For those of you who don't come to the implementer calls, we've been working to get rid of a lot of technical debt. The KERI Foundation team of developers, sort of I would say the spin up of the new developers has been to remove technical debt, to get familiarization. So the main branch has had a lot of changes lately, mostly technical debt. But we're at the point where we're going to start adding new features. Ari did a bunch of work on the CRAM implementation, and we're taking that over, building on top of what he did to finish that out at the KERI Foundation. So there is been revisions to the CRAM specification. Let's see if I can find
Saw a couple of those.
Yeah, a couple of small changes, but let's see. Oh yeah, discussions. So I'm just going to post the link in the chat for those who want to go read it. There is now discussion item in the KERI Pi repo. I'll post it in the chat. We're also about to migrate the main branch from the default being version 1 of the specs, which didn't exist, right? Sorry, version 1 of the protocols, which is version 0 of the specs, to version 2 of the protocol, which is version 1 of the specs, the just released specs. So that will be happening soon. And for those of you who aren't familiar, the funding that we received at the KERI Foundation, we received a large donation to build what we're calling the 5 Ws, or one-click KERI in one click, which is the core infrastructure components, and just mature the tooling for those. And we're also working with people in the community who are making contributions to help with that. And then we also have some funding from the state of Utah via the Governor's Office of Economic Opportunity to work on the SETI application of that technology. So those are probably announcement-worthy things.
I give a quick update on our did WebS spec status.
Yes, absolutely.
And I've been doing my kind of last top to bottom review of the spec, and I'm about a third of the way through. I've identified quite a number of areas that need adjustment now. It's mostly correlation within the spec, so making sure that where we say one place that there's an optional did web identifier in the also known as, based on whether or not there has been a delegation event, that concept now needs to be made consistent in other code examples and other references in the spec. That's just one example, but I'm finding a number of these. So okay. I think at this point, Kent and I had been hoping to have a draft to Sam, you, and Phil before next week's did WebS working session. I think that will likely not happen. I think we'll need to just give a report as to where we are next week in the did WebS working session. We'll see how much we can get done today. Kent and I are meeting later today to kind of sync up again and come up with a plan of action going forward. But I just wanted to make sure that we were communicating that I think there's more work in the spec to finish the draft, I think, than I had originally thought. So, and the second
isn't it always?
Well, that's totally true. It really is. And honestly, my goal is I want to make sure that whatever we put in front of you guys to review, you don't end up going through it and just finding a bunch of holes right away. Like, I want it to be pretty solid and pretty easy just to say, yeah, let's forward this on to the Trust over IP, steering committee. The second item is just a quick report on the status of did WebS as a diff recommended did method. In the diff did methods working group, there's been kind of some soul searching over the last month or so, and the level of, I guess, how stringent the requirements are to be considered as a diff did methods working group has become tighter. So there are where the requirements are being held as like absolute must have. So for example, in order to become a diff recommended did method, a method must have at least 2 implementations in different languages. So as that has solidified, the policy at diff is that did methods, and there are 2 currently, one is did WebS and the other is did Web Plus, that are in the middle of the review period process. The clock has stopped on that review process to give the champions of those did methods a chance to respond. Kent and I are already looking at this and trying to determine the correct way to meet this requirement. We don't have anything specific right now, but there are a number of approaches. I'm not really worried about it. I think it's actually likely that we'll be able to, if nothing else, honestly vibe code some sort of simple implementation of the core part of the did method specification, the core did method specification, like just even having the CRUD operations implemented would be okay. But again, just kind of a heads up that there's a little
Okay,
bit.
yeah. So they're not extending that requirement to all the supporting infrastructure. It's just to the narrow defined did because I was
Correct.
going to respond and say if they extended that to the supporting infrastructure, then they've cut off their nose to spite their face because then they would only allow did methods that were too simple to be of any use from a security perspective.
Correct. And that that whole debate and different flavors of that debate have been occurring on the in our working group sessions for the working group.
Okay.
Other examples would be if you have blockchain based did methods that you have multiple implementations in multiple languages, but they're all dependent on one core smart contract. Like,
Yeah.
do you really have multiple implementations? And
Well,
like,
in multiple languages, right? So you're going to go tell the Ethereum guys, "Oh yeah,
right.
no, Solidity is not a good enough language for you."
Exactly. Right. And that has been debated. The merits, you know how things go in working groups, like it's a bit of a compromise, but the point is people feel that having at least two implementations in two different languages of the core capabilities is enough to say to other people with a straight face, you don't have to worry about like some huge supply chain bug showing up in one language or whatever that now you need, you have no recourse because there's nowhere else you can go. Like there's just it's enough of a thing, and the concept of just having a vibe coded core implementation, like everybody's aware that that's a possibility, and like on balance people prefer to have at least two implementations. So anyway, Kent and I are aware of it, we're working on it. I just wanted everyone to know that there's a couple of kind of delays, wrinkles, but everything's definitely moving forward. It's the kind of stuff you discover at the end because you're looking at it that you didn't know at the beginning because you weren't looking at it.
I'm really glad you called that soul searching because KERI is the only did method with the soul. There's an inner drive in all of us. Some of us listen to it, some of us don't.
So everybody know Kent just labeled every other did method on the planet as soulless.
But I only did that to you guys because I know you won't like throw me out of the room.
No,
for it,
no,
'cause
I'm
you
happy.
agree.
I'm
No, just
happy.
kidding.
I'm happy somebody else did it besides me. So
I will volunteer.
There we go. Captured in the notes.
The eyes have it, right?
There you go.
And Jonathan and Kent, I had passed for you the trust over IPs process for getting a specification finalized. And Hank has already gone through that, and I've been taking what Hank has learned and tried to document that so that the process is more smooth.
Yeah, thank you. We appreciate that. And just so you know, we're not ignoring that at all. What we have done is filed it away because step one for us right now is just getting the technical details in the spec correct so that Phil and Sam can give the thumbs up. Once that's the case, then we'll turn our attention entirely to the process of submitting to the steering committee and meeting the various formal kind of requirements as opposed to the technical requirements.
You will need to do what KERI Caesar ACDC did as well, and that is the steering committee doesn't look at the technical details. That is, and we don't have external review and public review. That is before it gets working group approved. So you're going to finish your spec. You're going to have your community look at it and approve it. And then the working group is going to approve it and say, this is technically correct, the best kind of correct. And then it'll come up to the steering committee and then we'll say, oh, do we have an identifier? Did we check the license? What is it going to be called? Are all your authors correct? That kind of stuff.
Yeah, perfect. Looking forward to it. Hopefully soon.
Good, thank you.
And this meeting next week is the the dossier and did WebS task force meetings, we split the meeting in half. So for those of you who want to dig in more deeply, show up next week at the same time. But you probably won't have that ready for review next week. Is that correct, Jonathan? We lose him?
Seems like it.
No, I'm here. Sorry. I'm on my phone and I was stepping away actually to fill out that KERI comp form, and then you asked the question. It will not. I think it's very unlikely it'll be ready for review next week. Kent and I are going to talk. That it's a chance that if we just do a real push, we'll have it ready. But I would prefer to submit it to you and Phil before we talk about it and vote on it as the working group. So that would mean you have to have it ready in the next couple of days.
Yeah.
You guys would have to review it before next Tuesday.
It's going to be next. It's going to be next month's meeting. Correct. Before we.
Yeah.
Okay. Which I think on the calendar might be during the week of the KERI conference. Is that correct? So we may want to. So we could. So if we're planning to vote on it in April, we may want to do it during this meeting instead of the task force meeting.
Okay, noted.
Which is on the 14th, because your meeting happens to be in the middle of KERI conference, so it probably won't happen.
Noted.
Yeah. It's just to look ahead, just depends on when you want to get a vote on it. So usually, so that's a problem, I guess. Because usually what you want to do is want to have a vote to submit it for public review. So this would be the vote to submit for public review, right? Not the vote to approve the spec.
No, I think it's actually the vote to submit to. It's the vote to approve the spec as the working group, as the technical working group or technical task force, so that we can then submit it to the Trust Over IP Steering Committee. That's where I assume the formal public review would occur, correct?
Well, no, we have to have a public review before we submit it to the steering committee.
So so then it's that. Absolutely that.
Yeah.
Our thought had always been, we would do 1 month. So in this case now it would be April. We would approve the spec from a technical point of view and open the formal public review.
And then at the end of the public review, we'd have another vote to say that it was done and submit it to the steering committee.
So the next month in May, then we would vote in the regular working group session, the task force session, to submit it to the steering committee. Or whatever the process is, but yes, it would be
it's probably still in the working group meet.
Yeah, it is.
But we could It's just because it's the whole working group that votes to submit it to the steering committee. But the task force, makes the recommendation.
It's sequential. It's going to be 1 month, and then it's going to be month, and then month plus one. Those are going to be in play.
Yeah, we just lost a month because of the other stuff. That's okay. That's the way it goes. If I could have back all of the months that were lost doing the 3 other specs, I'd be 2 or 3 years younger. All right. Okay. So we've got a few minutes left. Is there anything that anybody wants to discuss?
I'm starting a 12-step program for Ditaholics Anonymous. And I've learned over the years that at the end of every resolution, people are looking for a key history. And for those who have these compulsions to use other DID methods, I can help you sort of recover. So anyway, it'll be Thursdays.
Hi, Ken.
Hi, I'm Ken. I'm a Ditaholic.
Can you be my sponsor?
I need 30 days of sobriety first. I used the W3CVC yesterday, so you got to talk with
He
me.
relapsed.
All right.
That's going to be a problem when you meet every month. You have a relapse, so he won't be sober for 30 days.
But check back with me in a month, maybe.
There we go.
Um, Sorry,
Go ahead,
to
Carly.
help with our 12 steps of DID methods. To identify that you have a problem requires a bit of education, where people don't even realize that they are facing a DID method problem. So if you come up with ideas that you think, I wish everybody actually knew this problem, let me know. There's a playlist of all the I'm trying to educate, say, hey, what happens if you can't do this? This is what's going to happen, and here are some of the solutions that people are using to address it. So if you see a missing challenge on there, let me know, and I can try and develop some content for education.
That would be great. From my perspective, the big blind spot for the verifiable credential community and the DID community, since blockchains no longer became the main focus of DID methods, they started out as the main focus. Blockchains have a very, very important property that verifiable credentials need, and that is persistence. But that also tends to be antithetical to privacy. And so when they abandoned the persistence of blockchain because of privacy concerns, what they got is verifiable credentials that have no persistent or perpetual verifiability. And that is a huge blind spot. So KERI solved that problem intentionally because it said, well, we need that. We can't throw that away or verifiable credentials don't work. So we have to have, micro ledgers or mini blockchains or you know, uh, uh, key event logs that are verifiable data structures that are not commingled with other people's verifiable data structures. So you are GDPR compliant. You can have the privacy features that you need, but you get the perpetual verifiability. And every other DID method on the planet that was adopted, 200 of them, that is not blockchain, that without KERI, they lose the main thing that you need for verifiable credential, which is persistence. Because everything in security has always been ephemeral. Signatures are ephemeral. Shared secrets are ephemeral. Tokens are ephemeral. They're all ephemeral. So you can't issue persistent verifiable credentials that have verifiability and perpetuity if you have ephemeral security. And that is a huge blind spot. And
so I have the video there. I'm not covering all your points because I've got at most 3 minutes to do it in. So I was trying to be bite-sized. I'd be happy to expand on some of those ideas. So anchored signatures just up above, that's the draft. If I have to redo it again, I'm gonna cry, but we can certainly expand on other ideas in other things if you send me point form notes, and then I can turn that into a script. And thank you, Ken, for the feedback.
But yeah, that is the main point. When somebody brings to me a verifiable credential application, the first thing I ask myself and I ask them is, what is the time frame that this credential has to be verifiable?
When we think about trust on the sorry, that's me.
Yeah. So if it's an ephemeral application, then there are lots of things that could work. If it's not ephemeral, if the time span exceeds the typical crypto period for an authentication key, then it's completely inappropriate to use what most DID methods use as the security. Even the DID methods right now that have verifiable key history, they are not anchoring their issuances. So the verifiable key history doesn't help them with verifiable credentials. They're still broken. So all of these trusted DID methods are still broken. DID WebVH, DID whatever plus, they're not anchoring their issuances. They're still broken from a verifiable credential point of view. It is sad from my perspective that despite years of arguing that this is a problem, that they adopt a little bit and then think they're done without going all the way, right? And if they go all the way, then they're faced with, well, why don't we just adopt KERI? And that's usually the problem. It's usually politics. They want to
Right.
adopt KERI because they want to do their own thing that they own. They don't want to share.
Yeah. Or sometimes, to be honest, it's a scaffolding thing. You don't understand everything at the beginning. I see this in my own work where you're like, okay, I just want to do this part. And then you'd start digging. You're like, but wait a minute, but wait a minute, but wait a minute. So the anchored signatures addresses what you talked about there. And I talk also about other solutions. For example, I do say you could,
well, you're not technically anchoring signatures. You're anchoring issuances. Right.
Okay. So I can rename I can rename, but I think I called the whole thing anchored signatures.
Yeah, it's not. Well, okay. The key event log is not anchoring signatures, is anchoring key state. You're just signing the events in the key event log, and then yeah.
If you tell me, okay, the slides I can change more easily. So if you give a suggestion, then I can easily swap out slides.
It's you're anchoring issuances to key state. That's the key point. We did an IAW talk years ago, and the title of the talk was "We don't sign our credentials, and you shouldn't either."
Okay.
Because ACDCs are not signed; they're anchored.
Right. Yep. Okay. Yep.
And so when somebody says, I have a W3C verifiable credential and I have attached a proof, and that proof is a signature, then they've limited themselves to only ephemeral applications that can't exceed the crypto period of that bare signature.
And can't be revoked, for example.
Well, you can have a revocation registry, right? But the proof that you attach is not verifiable. So a verifier can't trust that proof beyond some reasonable time period. And in fact, if the keys are compromised, then they can't trust it at all. And how do you know if the keys have been compromised? Right?
Yeah. Okay. And that's covered in my soon to be perhaps renamed.
In a key event log, you know that a rotation means you can't trust those keys anymore. Sorry. Anyway, we're at the top of the hour. I thought that'd be helpful for you. Yeah, somebody else is talking in the background. I can hear it. Sorry. Somebody needs to mute. All right. Anyway, I don't want to. We'll give anybody else have anything else. I was just trying to help there, Carly. But if that's, I hope that's helpful.
I would like to call out quickly for people that want, together with me, educate the Bitcoin community because they think they can solve all the problems in the world just by talking about Bitcoin. And I've reached out to, for example, Jeff Booth, and he was very much interested in KERI after I did. And I think that could be a way to, because they support the whole idea of self-sovereignty and digital freedom, but they focus very much on the financial part of it. And so if there's anybody in this group interested to join me for that journey, reach out to me, please.
Do we have anything specifically published that addresses the problem with blockchain in digital ID?
I haven't seen sort of specific content on that myself in our ecosystem yet.
It'd be nice to have.
Yeah, it really would be.
Make the argument, you know.
Well, the Sovereign Foundation failed for the reason of privacy and GDPR, and so this goes back years. But everybody that has any memory in the blockchain space knows that GDPR destroyed the idea of being able to use blockchains for identity purposes. Because once you put it on the blockchain, it's immutable forever and you can't ever delete it. And GDPR requires the right to be forgotten. So that's the argument. You can't use blockchain for identity because you can't be forgotten. And so everybody abandoned it, but there's probably a lot of people using blockchain now that don't have enough memory to go back to like 2018 to when GDPR first came out.
Yeah, or don't see the obvious problem.
Yeah.
Not thinking in context of GDPR.
Yeah.
It's only us nerds that think and, even know that GDPR is a thing.
Yeah, well, it used, yeah. I mean, people, they have convenient members. It's part of the infrastructure now. Everybody just assumes that GDPR is a thing, but most people don't have forgotten why it was there in the first place. Anyway, so we're at the top of the hour. So thank you everyone for participating and supporting the efforts. And big things are happening in the KERI world. 2026 is going to be an amazing year. It's only just getting started.
Thank you, everybody. Thanks, Sam.
See you later.
All right.
Very exciting.
Bye-bye.